Yes, guys, you already know what it is. It is I, your host, Simon Omishore, and I am the founder of Vice Versa Live, and Vice Versa Talent, of course. But this is not live, unfortunately. It's not, as I am spending time with the princess. But notwithstanding, I still had to come and deliver the content to you guys as it is. Again, one of my most favorite things to do to be speaking with you guys and discussing all things jobs and careers, and informing you guys what's actually happening within the industry. Now, I have spoken to quite a few people who have been watching the content, and I love the feedback. And more importantly, I love the results. I've had a number of different people come to me and tell me how much that they appreciate the content. Um, and I'll actually really put a video together so you guys can actually see, the results from, my work. And it means so much that people have, changed their lives, changed their careers, and, gone into different opportunities just off the back of, the work that I do, which is really, really good. And I'm really, really happy about. So yeah, today I am going to be talking about emotional intelligence and I guess go into its importance, what it looks like, how to get it, how to execute, as it is a current trend. But as I always do and how I always like to start, please smash a like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already to the channel. So, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence right now is probably the biggest things that's happening within, you know, across all verticals. No matter what industry, it's the biggest thing that's happening. And it's the biggest thing, the biggest skill, soft skill that is that's been in search of by hiring managers, CEOs, um, as it is very, very important. So, what is emotional intelligence? Um, Emotional intelligence really is your ability to respond to a client or customer with the appropriate, that's the right word, appropriate emotion that's going to guide them to the result that you want. Or the cust or not only you want, but the business and so forth. That is what emotional intelligence is. It's being able to pivot the customer with you leading them to to your desired destination. That is what emotional intelligence is. Um, a lot of companies are looking for this, but what you'll find with a lot of companies is they're absolutely talking a whole bunch of rubbish on emotional intelligence because they themselves don't have any concept of what emotional intelligence is because it's not in their culture. Um, and if it's not in your culture, how are you able to recognize what it is? You won't. But that is another conversation for another day. But emotional intelligence is that. Um, so, where I would start with, in regards to emotional intelligence, is if you don't already have it, you need to you need to start with yourself, and that again is self-awareness. I've spoken about it before, but in order for you to actually recognize emotional intelligence, or you to, sorry, not to recognize emotional intelligence, but for you to execute on emotional intelligence, you need to first understand what on earth is emotional intelligence. What is it? And you need to understand your own emotions. You have to really become one with yourself, and really, really know yourself. um, I think for me, it's taken me a long time for me to even understand my own emotions. Um, you know, it's very, very difficult, and it's a journey that I'm constantly learning. But for you to understand and for you to execute on emotional intelligence, you need to first recognize your own emotions. Because once you're able to recognize your own emotions, then you can able to go into the second stage, which is the most important part. Now, if you're not, if you haven't been emotionally awoken, or that part of you hasn't risen up, then I would say focus on customer service. Focus on putting the client, the customer first, because if you can do that, then those principles of customer service and putting the person first, being able to understand their needs, you'll be able to execute, you're able to execute a form of emotional intelligence, which I would say is the foundation of it. Um, just to go on to the first bit of what emotional intelligence is, it is predicated on customer service. That is where it is. Um, but that's what I would say. Self-awareness is the first thing that I would say is your step towards understanding um, emotional intelligence. The next thing is the response. Number two is the response. What is your response? And I think this is very, 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 very important. Now, my background is predominantly in sales and customer service, and this thing is so special because not many people know how to respond and what does it look like. Now, I kind of seeing the response bit as almost like a bird's eye. It's almost like you're taking yourself out of the situation and you're looking at the situation from a bird's eye view. So you get to see all of what's happening before your eyes. And that is how you want to respond. Um, and with that in mind, customer service. So I've worked as a customer service manager at a sports center, and I've worked at Apple and various retail outlets. And when a customer is coming towards you, and they're they're coming to you to buy something or whatever, you are now in a position where you can now respond. I think a lot of the time, a lot of people think that it's how can I say it? It's one dimensional when it comes to the exchange between and um, a customer and an employee, but it's not one dimensional. It's actually a lot of things, and this is where so many different people talk about like energy and this and that, but there are subtleties that can occur with an exchange. And this is where the power of response, number two, response is. And this is where your emotional intelligence is going to be at its highest. So if a customer comes towards you or a client comes towards you, how you're able to understand the part of where you can respond is in the questioning. The kind of questions you will ask is where it is your bread and butter. It's the money, is the questioning. Because when you ask the questions and you start to dig at what it is that they want or what kind of problems they're trying to solve or what is it that they're looking for, this is where you're able to understand things, and that's where you get your bird's eye. That's where you get your bird's eye view from, is the questioning. Because when you ask those questions, you're able to understand where exactly they are, and that's from when they're speaking. If you're with them face to face, then you can start to feel where they are. You can see it in their eyes, in their body language. You're able to see where they are. And then you're able to respond. Because in the responding is where the leading is. Because you can't lead a customer if you don't know where they're going. You can't just lead someone to just lead someone somewhere because it doesn't work. You need to first establish where they are. And that's where the trust is built. You want to first establish where they are. Once you're able to establish where they are, then you can lead them to where they want to be, or lead them to where you feel they're going to be most profitable or most comfortable or most satisfied. That is where you want to do. So that is very, like what I've said right now is very, very powerful. Many companies will not tell you this because this skill generally is so hard to teach. Um, it's so hard to teach. It's so hard to teach that it's like it's a rarity. It's scarce because a lot of employees are reactive. Um, but in order for you to really exhibit um, emotional intelligence, it's found in proactivity because you have to be on the front foot. You can't be reactive because if you're reactive, you're not going to be able to find out exactly what it is that the customer wants. You're not going to be able to really lead someone somewhere, and you're just really going to respond in a way that's only going to infuriate the customer, or you're just going to lose business if you are doing sales. So, number one, I spoke about self awareness. Number two, I spoke about, being able to respond. Number three, I would say is about closing it. And I guess it's the question. I guess it's the closing of the questions and what I would call a CTA, which is a close to action or call to action. Um, that's the word, call to action, close to action. But it's more or less closing. So you want to be able to have self-awareness of yourself. If you don't have that self-awareness of your own feelings, it's the customer service part where you're actually putting the needs of the customer first. Then it's the two, responding. How do you respond? Asking the questions, asking the right questions, asking open questions that's going to allow them to pour out. If you're not, with them in person, then you're able to hear and then you're able to respond. Number two is a call to action. And that is where you are able to see, okay, they've said this, they have expressed their feelings, they've expressed what is it that they want. Now, I now need to now do a call to action and now almost give that step, that leading, like, okay, so how can we do this? Should we have a call? Is that a call? Is it something that we can discuss further in a call? Is it something I can demonstrate to you now, or is it something that I can show you? You want to be able to give those kind of action points to that person, and that ultimately is the three step um the three-step direction to emotional intelligence. Again, this stuff is very new. I don't know many people who are in this space or other creators who are talking about these things because again, it's very, very difficult to to understand. But a lot of it is understanding your own emotion and putting almost yourself in that position and kind of what kind of things do I need to hear and what kind of things do I need to give off in terms of a feeling that is going to make the customer feel safe. It's going to make the customer feel like they could trust you and that you can actually deliver. Um, and that's exactly what I would say in regards to the point of view and a customer. I would even go as far to be like, what does emotional intelligence look like in your workplace? Um, and I would say it's the same thing. It's the same thing. But I would say there are other elements, but I would say another part of emotional intelligence that, excuse me, that I haven't said is listening. You'd be surprised how many people actually don't know what listening is. I had a candidate who I was hoping to find a role, marketing role, and she had gone to a couple interviews and she wasn't really successful. And I was like to her, you know, why do you think you haven't been successful? And she didn't really know. And but what I felt in our exchange is she always would just not really listen to what I've said and just talk and just almost like rabbit on. And I noticed that she wasn't exhibiting listening. And I think there is a book called, the is it the seven effective traits of highly successful people. And in one of them it says, seek first to understand, then to be understood, which means is To listen really is being, you have the ability to being still, listening, responding to what has been said to you, and then you adding your point. That is listening 101. And in order for you to deploy emotional intelligence, you have to have that ability to listen in order for you to respond. It you've got to be able to listen, and that comes with the self-awareness, the understanding of emotion, and understanding where that energy is. Where is the energy of the customer? But going back to what I was talking about in regards to the you deploying emotional intelligence at work, a lot of the time it's about figuring out who's who at work. If you are entering to a new workplace, um, and you're you're quite nervous, but you're trying to feel your feet. Generally, you want to be able to decipher who's who. And most workplaces are like school. You have the people who are, the popular ones, the people who are the bullies, the people who are the social butterflies, and the people who know everyone's business. You want to be able to know all of those things very, very quickly. And a lot of that is really taking a sit back and really just watching, but also engaging. You want to be able to engage with people, and you will feel people's energy. It's so real, like this whole energy stuff. I don't want to be like some, I don't know, some Star Wars Jedi, like, oh, it's the Force and all this kind of stuff. But like this energy stuff is real, and you're able to, once you become open to these things, you're able to see where people are, who's who, and then once you're able to do that, then you're able to deploy emotional intelligence, in a way that you can intelligently do so, not that you're just doing it to, just doing it for the sake of it. Emotional intelligence is used as and when it is absolutely necessary to do so. It's not just I'm just going to do it just to do it. No, it's not meant to do that. It's meant to be, you know, intelligently done. That's why it's called emotional intelligence, EI. It's meant to be that. So yeah, it's about being sensitive. It's about, just trying and really being able to respond appropriately. And that's essentially what is emotional intelligence. Um, this is the number one skill. This is the number one soft skill. So if you aren't already doing it, then this video is perfect for you. This video is really going to help encourage, uplift, and really put you on the path, I would say. It's a really good introductory to put you on the path towards, executing this. I'm still learning it. I'm still practicing it, as it's very, very important for me when I'm speaking to clients, when I'm speaking to candidates. It's very, very important for me to being able to use it as and when, and really, uplift, guide, um, and really help people. So I really hope that helps. If you haven't already, do smash a like, on the button. Do smash a like, subscribe, and share. This is for everyone, and that does draw close to my presentation. I would love to hear some comments and some feedback, because obviously there's no live Q&A, as I'm not going to be there, but this is for you guys, and I know that this is really going to help a lot of people, as a lot of the clients that I am working with are looking for this. Um, but what's really interesting, just to add, I know that I'm kind of rabbiting on, but just to add this is so new. And if you are going to interview tomorrow, next week, throw it in, because they're gonna be like really like taking this stuff in, because this stuff is powerful stuff. But just to close, a lot of companies are looking for this, but a lot of companies don't know what this is. They really don't. And it's important for you to really show that customer service part, because I think companies will understand customer service. So that's a good way to really, give examples from customer service point of view, how emotionally intelligent you actually are and how much value that's going to bring to the company that you are interviewing for, or where with our company that you're looking to be a part of. But yes, I look forward to hearing your comments. I look forward to seeing all the like buttons. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys all next week. Do take care and have a fantastic week. Good night and God bless.